Hi, this is, I think, session four of Fearful Symmetries, our game based on the Trail of Cthulhu campaign by Steve Dempsey. Um, in, well, let's see, last week our odd group of occultists survived an encounter with some strange things in Lincolnshire and attuned to its first place of power. And this week we'll be returning to their home base in Oxford to debrief and plan their next moves. This game was organized through the Open Hearth gaming calendar. Open Hearth is an online community that plays lots of role-playing games. You can find out more at openhearthgaming.com, and we would love for you to come and play with us. Um, just excuse me. Just ask everyone to sort of take a look at the lines and veils, remind yourselves about the safety tools that we're using, and then I'll get you each to introduce yourselves and your characters. Um, Puckett, do you want to tell us about yourself and Jack?
Hey there, I'm Puckett. I use he, him pronouns. I have been on the Open Hearth for a hot minute and a half now, and I'll be playing Jack Taylor this evening. Jack is a blues musician who ventured forth from the United States, which is a polite way of saying, one step ahead of an angry husband or somebody he owed money to. That's still not quite clear, and wound up in sunny old England, where he has proceeded to make even more of a mess of things for himself with his opium addiction and now apparently sleeping with nobility. So, yeah, it's it's a weird life.
All right. Thank you. Jose,
Clarify aristocracy.
I am genuinely unsure of the
Fair.
distinction.
Well, nobility
He's
implies that
not in
they're
line for
noble.
the throne.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Point being, it's somebody who could be called lady something or other. So, a little bit higher up the social ladder than I am.
I think this is
But
how Jack describes all his contacts. Like, someone who could be described as something or other.
a
I
little bit
think,
higher up than me, but that's not difficult considering Oscar Wilde and I are hanging out in the gutter.
great. Jose,
Hey everybody, my name is Jose and my pronouns are he and him. I am playing another jazz musician, but from a somewhat different background. Sybil Carrington, she, her. She is the daughter of aristocracy, perhaps not nobility. Um, uh, and her interest in the occult sprang from a love of jazz music and a kind of a grand experience in at a cafe in Paris one day watching the Hot Club perform. And so she is a violinist and uses her music as part of her entrance into magic. And she's just learned some more magic, so she's up to her neck now, trying to process what was discovered at the crossing of the ley lines at her last our last adventure.
thank you. Stephen, Stephen, you're muted.
Sorry,
So,
sorry. My computer is acting a bit weird. Um, I think I was wrong though. I think that nobility refers to any titled person. Maybe not to a knight. Depends on what kind of title the Lord had. Anyway, I am playing Owen. That doesn't really matter. All I know is that I blackmailed a one of the money elite last time. Got a big chunk of money for the Communist Party. Um, Stephen, he, him. I've been he, they. I've been here for a while, and I'm playing Owen, he, him, a violence doer, union organizer, Communist Party member, poet, a lot of things.
Great. Thank you. And T.
I'm T, she, her. Actually, I'm coming up on a year with the hearth, so I guess I'll bake a cake. And I am playing George Bennett, researcher, naturalist, and previously skeptic and debunker of spiritualists, and current spiritualist, but for real this time. And last time she did some research and learned more about the quality of these creatures as reported by their victims secondhand through their doctor. Um, and in between, I have thought a little bit about her, and so I've spent some XP on assessed honesty because I think she probably actually should have, given her background, had a little bit in that. And also now she knows ghosts can lie, so that's helpful information for her. And I also took a first point in folklore because she's been listening to, well, I guess Lord Massingbird's descriptions of sort of local folk beliefs. So she's beginning to explore more deeply the world of the occult as a participant rather than interloper.
Cool. Um, so before we get started, I just want to mention something that I added to the spells tab in the Keeper, which is Change Matter 1, a ritual that none of you know yet, but this represents now that you're magicians, you can start to figure out magic for yourselves. And this is like the entry level magic that you can work out how to do. And essentially, it's a ritual. It takes you create some sort of focus, a scrying mirror. I think the examples are like salves and powders. Um, the takes a week, and at the end of the week, you get uh, the equivalent of 5 points in a general ability. So, you can create yourself a salve of running and get 5 points of athletics, or whatever it might be. So it's quite flexible. If you cast that ritual successfully 4 times, which would take, 4 weeks, you'll be able to, you'll understand that level of magic well enough that new magical possibilities will open to you. So you might also discover spells through your researches or other activities, but that's like the new sort of magical effect that's open to you if you want to explore or play with that. Um, does that make sense? Cool. Um, so I also just want to talk a bit about what this session is going to look like. I think I said this on the Discord, but my intention for today is, kind of a more relaxed session in a way. Like there's no specific mystery that you're investigating. Yeah, more like downtime. Um, there are some threads that you can explore. There are some new hooks that I have to sort of offer you today. Um, but it can also include things like your personal relationships and motivations and magical research or whatever other stuff your character wants to explore. Um, yeah, so if there's stuff that you'd like to do or see, just let us know. One thing that I'll be angling for is that by the end of this session, I know what we're doing next week so that I can prepare for that. So either we're sort of pointed at any mystery or we're pointed at like we need some more time for downtime. That's okay as well. But just for me to have a sense of where we're going next week. Well, for all of us to have that sense, really. So we're going to start today with you all back at Oxford. Lord Massingbird is in hospital somewhere in Lincolnshire. Your circle, now attuned to a place of power in the Dolmen in Lincolnshire. You know of 3 more places of power that you may be able to attune to. You know that Massingbird was connected to this cult. Those are kind of the main plot threads, I guess, if you wanted to follow any of those. And we had established that a week after your weekend in Lincolnshire, you would meet up again with your patron, Lizzie Weiberg, to talk about what happened. So that's sort of the first scene that I have planned, but that's like a week away as we start. So we can jump right in there, but I guess I'll ask first if anyone wants to tell us about, wants to play out any scenes in the week before you go to meet with Lizzie. And just generally, even if you don't have scenes in mind, we'd like to hear from each of you about like what's it like to, go back to sort of everyday life after having had this probably what was probably your most dramatic supernatural encounter yet, possibly for everyone except Jack, who didn't really encounter the supernatural, I suppose. Um, just coming back to, I see Stephen's question in the chat, would learning the spell involve doing an investigative spend? Um, you don't need to spend for it. You can just perform that spell like any other spell by, paying the cost, performing the will tests. But once you have successfully performed it 4 times, you've internalized it enough to move on to the next levels. Um, and cast it as an incantation rather than a ritual once you've done those 4 successful ritual castings, which means it can be more spontaneous. Um, so, I mean, I might just start with Jack. I'm interested in how you're feeling, having, overslept, missed the ritual, joined this occult order, presumably with some interest in actually doing some magic, and then found that that was not quite the niche you fell into on your first outing. How do you feel about that?
Well, first of all, um, question of housekeeping. Do we
Mm,
reset our abilities now or later?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, next question. Has everybody else already headed back to Oxford?
Yeah. But
So,
you need not necessarily have joined them.
I think in that case, I am waking up next to Massingbird's wife.
Well,
Uh,
wait, sorry. I don't think that you're going to be waking up calmly and rested in the Massingbird bedroom because your companions will have like bustled back into the house in the very early hours of the morning, carrying the horrifically burned body of Lord Massingbird. Um, so, I mean, that's the situation that you would be waking up to.
we did mention that, I well, smoked a fair bit of opium with Lady Massingbird,
Mhm.
so might have enabled me to sleep through it, uh, possibly.
Sure.
Because I just
Well,
kind of like the idea of waking up in the morning, everybody's gone except for her, the staff, and myself.
I mean, she certainly will have woken up even if you didn't. Like, she might not be at the hospital, but she's at least, sort of frantically getting ready to go and see what exactly is happening for her husband.
Ah, I see. In that case, I'll just wander over and say, so what's going on?
She'll look at you with like a spark of anger and say, "What have you done?"
What do you mean? What did I do? I didn't,
"M- My
you,
hu
like,
my
we,
husband is in
we,
hospital. Your friends are connected somehow. Did you
hold on,
distract me?
hold
Is
on,
that what this was?
hold on. Point of clarification. They're not my friends. They're like at most coworkers or associates or people that I've met and sort of have something in common with. I mean, I probably have more in common with you or your staff than I do with them, honestly.
Should that
So,
comfort me? My husband may die yet.
I mean, I don't think that'll happen because you were sure invoking God a lot. Somebody as faithful as you must have a direct line to, you know, guy upstairs.
You're talking to me about faithfulness? Get out of my house.
I thought we had a good time. You're not even going to give me breakfast?
Lord Massingbird has powerful friends. They will not be happy about what's happened. If I were you, I would not wait to for them to find out.
Fine. And from that, I'm going to go back down to the library because I've already nicked a valuable book. Now I'm looking for any sort of magical tomes that I can see that might be useful.
I mean, we already sort of established that the magical tomes don't seem to be useful, that he seemed like a sort of
Yeah.
superficial dilettante.
Yeah. Great. I was hoping it'd be different if I went back and looked a second time. All right. Well, can't be helped. I'm gonna definitely walk out, start walking down the path from the manor, thinking about how the hell I'm going to get back to Oxford.
Well, I guess you can thumb a ride somewhere along the way.
So this is, hand waving 1920s, 1930s. So there are automobiles, correct?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
for
think in
sure.
that case, I'm just going to sit out there right by the road, waiting for a car to come along and play some blues music. Because, well, when one is lost or forlorn or lonely or thrown out of a manor by the wife of a member of the aristocracy who you slept with and smoked opium with, what else is there to do but play the blues?
Yeah, fair enough. We'll pick up with you a bit later. But
Yep.
yes, Jose, it does seem that the three of you left Jack behind. Couldn't wake him up. Um, so I might ask you now about Sybil. Like, how's Sybil feeling, and what's Sybil been doing in the week since you left Lincolnshire?
So I guess trying to imagine why Sybil what they would have left Jack there. But anyways, they left Jack there and they got in the car and they drove back to Oxford. Um I'm thinking that maybe we were denied entry back into the house. Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, it seems
Um,
plausible to me that the police were starting to nose around, and it was just urgent
and we
that
were like,
you get
the
away.
better part of valor.
Yeah.
We dropped Mr. Massenberger at the hospital, and then we took off.
Hmm.
Um, my sense is that Sybil sleeps in the car. George, do you drive? Did we decide it was your car?
I think Lizzie loaned it to us, and
Oh,
both
Lizzie loaned it to
George
us. Yeah,
and Owen can drive.
Yeah.
can't drive.
Uh,
Yes. Okay. So I
but
think
Owen
one
is
shot
hurt,
was yeah.
right?
Sorry.
Was Owen hurt?
Um, I was burnt a little bit, yeah. You can't tell now because I reset everything. But yes,
Yeah.
I did get some burn.
Needed some patching
And
up.
that George is probably driving then.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just see Sybil curl up in the back seat. She's fallen asleep. And that's her way of processing what happened the night before. So there's a shot of her curled up with her violin in the back seat and the car bumping along, and these two George driving. And I think in her sleep, she might be stirring like she's having a bit of a nightmare. It's almost like psychic indigestion, trying to sort out what's been going on. And we might get flashes of, you know, we never saw the limbless things, right? That were in the forest. They just were
Hmm.
implied, right?
Hmm.
But some kind of flashes of that. But we did see the boy, right? Or the
Yeah.
what looked like the boy, and he was spider-like. So she's having nightmares of spiders and that boy.
Well,
So
you
we
also
have some
had to eat
flashes of
some
that.
spiders, as I
Yeah, well, I
recall.
also had to eat some spiders, so I'm still having I'm all in the spider mode
Hmm.
right now. And every once in a while she's like is like making motions like she's trying to wipe something off her arms. So fitful sleep in the back of the car. Yeah, that's one image that I get of her, and then maybe something else will come to me when we arrive back in Oxford.
Hmm.
Um,
Sure. Thank
yeah,
you.
I mean, when we do go to call scenes, there are a few that are on my mind as possibilities for Oxford, but I'll hold
Right.
off on that.
I think one thing I'd find helpful is if people do have ideas for specific scenes they'd like to see, maybe just type them in the Zoom chat and it will be useful for me to reference them there.
Sure.
If you don't have ideas, that's okay. But just if there's stuff you'd like to see. Um, Owen, what about you? Either on the drive back or in the week, arriving back in everyday life in Oxford. How is Owen? Owen's seen a lot of violence, but probably not like that before. How is it landing for him?
Um, yeah. Hmm. I think there's probably yeah, because I'm just thinking through of like what kind of character would it be? How would you process this? I think there is a stiff drink and taking some notes in his small notebook that he keeps in his breast pocket. Um, I think there's probably because I don't have first aid, so I think like even if Owen does bandage himself, he actually has to see someone who actually knows what they're doing. Um, who would that be? I don't, I don't think I
George did
don't.
train as a nurse.
What was that? Oh
Oh,
yeah,
I said George
maybe
did train as a nurse.
maybe that's the thing. Maybe we have this scene once we get back because I actually like I bandaged up myself. That basically involved tearing up of course tearing up my shirt and using that as bandaging. So I imagine that there's probably like you actually applying look, it's a thing, okay? This is how we got the HBO deal. So um you need to have scenes like this. I definitely do think like I would like that scene. Like I would like that unpacking scene with George if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, well,
Um I think maybe is this back at where would you want this to be? Would this be at like your apartment, your office, or Owen's apartment? Where would you be doing this?
Yeah. I think George would probably have the largest array of medical, like first aid kit and supplies in her apartment. So I think her apartment makes sense. And I'm, as a person not super familiar with the sort of cityscape of Oxford, um, but I imagine that there are shops with apartments above them, and she lives in one that's fairly close to campus. And I think that's where she takes you. And it is very organized. Everything has its place. Murphy bed would be time appropriate. I think she's got a Murphy bed so she can have more space to uh, just do activities. Um, and she pulls it down and we'll settle you on it once we've put Sybil wherever Sybil had to go. And we'll start helping you with the basics of wound care.
Hmm. And I as you're doing this, that was quick thinking, Miss George, with the whatever that beast was.
She shrugs a little bit, but has a little bit of a pleased smile. Are is there a scar that she would notice on Owen? Maybe something from his time on the surface? Or did he come through
I mean,
relatively
as I
unscathed?
said, like there are scars. I think I
Hmm.
mentioned I have 3 bullet wound scars. I think there's also probably something more than that. I think there's probably Probably some shrapnel scarring as well along the back.
Mm.
I have 12 health. Like that I envision like must mean that I have survived a lot.
Mm. And I think she's I mean George is just not interested in men. This is there's nothing,
There, I know.
tense here. But she's working to sort of distract you. Because I can't imagine it feels great. She's saying, I called Jack a survivor. You were lucky to come through that. Surprised you can still move your arm.
Oh well, it was broken just the one time. Twice if you want to count a spell.
You're you're a man of very focused purpose, Owen. I have to ask, I mean, all this. And she gestures at her bookshelf of, I think again a little embarrassedly, she gestures at her bookshelf of sort of popular spiritualist texts. It's a lot of the same ones that Lord Messingbird had. Uh, Popular books, not much truth into them, but they were important research for her. She says, "I have to. I don't mean to be blunt, but there's got to be more direct ways to support your cause than ghost hunting."
There's certainly more things I can do on the ground, and believe me, I've done them, but they're always what I found both in the war and after it, is there are always layers to things. The foreman you fight on the ground answers to a factory owner that answers to a consortium that answers to a government, and so forth. One can't just punch the foreman, have things done with. There's always a layer of power that you need to get, that one must get at. And I believe there's something here, a deeper layer of power that's been denied to most of my class.
Uh, and George smiles a little bit and says,
Come now, Miss George. It can't surely be that surprising to you that I'm capable of reading.
"No, not at all. It just, it sounds like you want to kill God."
Well, if not kill God, I mean, I would very much like at least to put him on trial.
And I think George's smile fades, and uh, she nods and says, "I can understand that." And I think that's you tied up like a turkey. And she'll give you a, a hearty pat that is not going to interfere with your wounds on the shoulder, and passes you what's left of your shirt.
Yeah, I do say, but you must answer me though. Same question. I know that you've investigated this sort of thing for a long time, and well, haven't you found your answer? At this point, what's pushing you forward? Turn
She
from skeptic to delver of these secrets.
she pauses a little bit, and starts to reach for a locket under her clothes and then doesn't and says, I I spent so much time debunking spiritualists because I thought they were lying to people. I thought they were saying they could do things that they couldn't, and they were preying on people and they were giving them false hope. And I'm not too proud to admit that I was once one of them. But I don't think the hope was entirely false. Maybe it would be better if it was.
But well, I think Miss George, if there is anyone that could turn a lie into something true, I think you might be stubborn enough to carry it out.
Thanks, Owen. Now, if you wouldn't mind leaving my apartment, I desperately want to get to bed.
Yes, of course. And I put on the shirt. I do think he says, perhaps there is a back way, unless you rather wanted a shirtless man being seen leaving your apartment.
And she grins and says, uh, if it'll soothe your conscience, the landlady is a friend of mine. I don't think you have anything to worry about on that account.
Of course. And I leave.
Nice. Um, but we see a scene of Sybil and Jack at a jazz club in London. Is that what we're thinking about? Trying to blow off some steam after the events of the weekend?
Yeah.
At some point, but I do have a thought that I'd like to run past you. Because, you know, sitting here with the tarot deck because Jack, tarot, and I just pulled the Seven of Swords reversed. And the description of that is that it's time to take my thoughts and ideas elsewhere. And reversed means theft and deception. So I'm thinking maybe I steal one of their cars.
Wait, one of the Massingbird's cars?
Yeah,
Can Jack drive?
doesn't matter.
Well, it is pretty important to stealing a car, I think.
I mean, there's driving and there's driving well. So is there
I
a
mean,
skill for driving?
there's not a skill for driving. There is a skill for mechanics, which I think would be required to hotwire a car.
I mean, this is a point when there's no hot wiring involved. It's a hand crank.
Hmm. Okay, I guess I'll take your word for it. Um, in that case, I think it's a composure test to make the car go the way you want when you don't really know how to make it work.
All right, that feels fair. Um,
The rail does also go to the place where we are.
I mean, it doesn't really
I
seem
can't
like Jack's
steal a train
motivated.
though.
Yes, it doesn't really seem like Jack's motivated by the need to get where he wants to go so much. Um,
Fair enough.
So a composure test. So
yeah.
what are you thinking here?
So the target is
Four?
4.
Okay.
Choose how many points, and then roll a d6.
Well, let me at least get the dice room open here. Target is 4. Roll a d6. You know what? I will spend 3 out of my pool because, well, yeah. Um, okay. Second column is pool. So as Lowell is quite fond of saying, there's almost no way you can fail this, and in fact, it is mathematically impossible for me to fail this.
Hmm.
So
Um,
And
all right.
that's a 9.
So you
Didn't
beat
even
the
need to spend those points.
so you beat the target. That's true. You beat the target by 4, which means you get an extra benefit, which I think means that you successfully navigate. Well, I guess there's a few ways that could go. You successfully navigate the car back to a garage or something where you can conceal the stolen car. Or maybe
Why
you,
would I want to conceal it?
well, what do you want to do with it?
Well, first of all, the benefit that I would like is that because of this, I've learned how to drive.
Oh, yeah, I buy
Um,
that. A 3-hour drive back to Oxford.
yeah, I mean, it's you got to figure out how to drive at some point back in there, right? Um, but no, I'm just going to drive back to Oxford. I mean, I'm sure there's roadway signs pointing in various directions, like Oxford this way, etc.
Sure.
So I'm just going to follow the signs, and when I get to Oxford, I'm just going to park it on the side of the road and leave it there, unless I spot a pond that is distinctly carless and needs to have a car in it, in which case I might drive it into said pond.
I mean, you know Oxford well enough to find a pond.
Well, in that case, you know what though? Fish. I'm going to park it outside of the police station and leave it there.
Well, I think that like if you are going to park it outside the police station, it's going to take a stealth test to get away. I don't think you can just like it's going to take some skill and luck to get away with that.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So my stealth is 5 and test of 4, so I will spend 3 points. So there's almost no way I can fail,
Hmm.
which by which I mean there's no way I can fail.
That's right.
And that's another 9, it looks like.
I'm not seeing another dice roll.
Hang on. There it is.
Ah, yeah, well. Which dice on fire today? Okay. Um,
Rolling the max.
all right. Um,
Um, the benefit I would like to propose is that I walk into the police station and talk to the person at the desk, and note that, I found this car and I don't know who it belongs to, but perhaps they could get it back to its rightful owner and maybe make a friend at the police force as a result.
I don't think that you're going
Too
to make
much?
it. I don't think that the opium addicted jazz musician the blues musician who just dumped a stolen car is going to make much of a friend. Um, but it can get back to the massing birds if that's the benefit you like.
I don't care if it gets back to the mass birds.
Mhm.
Um, in that case, let's just go with the simplest option, which is that I get away clean and there's no suspicion.
All right, nice.
Fair?
Yes. Um,
Like I said, God loves a drunk, and apparently that extends to opium addicts.
so far, we'll see how that goes. Um, Sybil, what have you been up to back in Oxford?
So, when they wake Sybil up and toss her at her place, Margaret brings her in and she goes straight to bed, and sleeps for a few hours. But when she awakens, um, she has an unbelievable amount of energy. We see her pacing in her apartment, and like she's coming apart at the seams. And um, she doesn't know where Jack is, because Jack is usually, she knows she needs to play and she needs to play with other people. And she needs to somehow work through some of this energy. And she usually goes places with Jack to play. Either she plays with Jack or she goes to places with Jack, but he's nowhere to be found, God damn it. So I think we see her run out and find Anthony, let's say, her brother.
Hmm.
And we don't have to go all the way to London. But I don't know if Owen is there. Owen could be there. chilling at Anthony's and get wrapped up in this, or I could just go with Anthony. Um, uh, but maybe we see Sybil tell Anthony, Anthony, I must play. You must take me somewhere. I can't go by myself.
Are you all right?
Oh, yes, yes. I know I've been gone for a week. You've been quite put together about all of that, haven't you? Did you worry?
Why would I worry? Uh, I mean, you've made it very clear you're an independent woman.
Then maybe you're worried about Owen. Oh,
Uh,
no, he didn't disappear, did he? He just went off to Lincolnshire with me. He's quite
uh,
fine, by the way.
he looks like a little bit proud and maybe flushed and says, "I never worry about Owen."
Yes, yes, of course. Well, will you take me out someplace to play?
Mm, I suppose. I mean, it's a college town, so there's, surely
There's places. I
venues.
don't have to go
Yeah,
all the way to
yeah,
London.
yeah. Um, like, what is the vibe that you want? Are you slumming it? Are you looking for somewhere that, a fourth could slot into a string quartet? Um, what is the vibe?
I think, yeah, let's slum it somehow. That's why she needed Anthony to come with her. A lady unescorted. Um, and who knows, maybe I open the door if Jack, you want to show up at the club. But it's fine if you don't. You might be sleeping things off too. Um,
I can show up at the
but
club if you want, but only if you
What do
want.
you
Like,
what do you think about walking in and finding Jack there already?
that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Maybe you all could help me paint the scene of the club a little bit. So um I guess the question would be what is it about this club that makes Sybil think she can really let her hair down here? Does anyone want to help me?
I
I
think
have plenty of ideas, but I'll hold back.
And they're all bad, is that what you said?
I said I'll hold back, give everybody else a chance to do something before I start tossing out why she can let her hair down.
Got it.
I think that as you walk in, you have to like abruptly push yourself back against the wall as two brawling men like stagger out the front door, throwing punches at each other.
Yes.
I think the bartender's in drag.
The
Yeah.
bartender's in drag. Lovely. And I think we see Sybil
There,
press up against the wall when those two thugs go by, and she kind of has a smile on her face, and she's protecting Vesper because she has Vesper in her hands, but she has a smile on her face, like she's been here before, and this feels like fun. I cut you off, T. Sorry.
oh no, you're fine. I was gonna say there is a dance floor and it is full.
Yes. Yeah. And they're people playing jazz, I assume. Puckett?
I will add that there are a bevy of working girls and boys who are circulating amongst the crowd, and if they are not getting hired, they're picking pockets. And I'm on stage playing some sort of raucous blues progression, yelling along and stomping my feet to provide a beat.
And I have before I keep narrating, I do have a mechanical possibility here with the new spell that you mentioned,
Mhm.
Shane. Let's see, what is it called again? I had it a second ago. Um,
It's just called change
the
matter.
change matter, yeah. Um, so I'm wondering if my thought is that in her playing she's trying to awaken, because we know that her violin has a strange provenance, and so the idea that she might be trying to awaken something in the instrument that would be, and so imbue the instrument with some magical power, or just awaken a dormant magical power within the instrument. That's my idea mechanically,
Hmm.
and I don't know. You can step me through the mechanics of it at whenever it seems appropriate, but narratively, I think as she and Anthony walk in, she sees the stage and she says, "Oh, lovely, Jack is here already." And find us a table, Anthony. Find us a table and order me a drink, something strong. And she opens up the case of the violin, pulls it out, and makes her way to the stage where, if there's a stage or corner or wherever it is that Jack is playing. And as she approaches, she's making eye contact with Jack, and her eyebrows are raised, like, "May I?" In terms of "May I join?"
Sybil! And you can tell just by looking at my eyes that I am high as a kite. See, it's so good to see you. I
And Sybil has a bit of a crazed look in her eye as well, for different reasons, from still trying to digest the magic that's in her. And I don't know if she looks different to you, but maybe you wouldn't even notice.
mm, there's probably something to do with her eyes. Like it almost looks like there's electricity sparking behind them.
And she feels driven. She feels driven. And she comes up and she doesn't say a word. And she just puts her violin up to her chin, and she begins joining you. Uh, And I assume there are some other musicians there, maybe a bass player, someone who's going to keep the beat, a drummer maybe. Um, and um, and yeah, I imagine we begin to play together. And I don't know, how much you and I have played together before, Jack.
Mhm.
But
Good question.
maybe
Let's
trading
find
off
out.
improvs, because you'll probably be leading, doing a riff yourself, and then maybe Sybil steps in later on, and so we're kind of moving back and forth. But I'm imagining manic energy from Sybil, anyways. What's the energy coming off of Jack?
You have to ask. I will summarize it in a word. Feral.
Feral.
Yeah. I mean, I stole a car this morning, dumped it at the police station without getting noticed, got high, got in this club. There's all sorts of mayhem going on around me. And I'm just stomping away playing the blues. So, yeah, I think feral is probably the best way to put it. Um, there's probably a bottle of rye whiskey next to me on the boxes that constitute a stage.
And while you
And
do one of your solos, I think um, uh, Sybil's gonna take a shot of whiskey while you're in the four, and join afterwards.
So
okay,
I am just going to cut in here. I like the idea of getting all four of you into this bar to blow off some steam together. So maybe
Oh,
this
sure.
is
uh-huh,
happening like a few nights after you got back, like maybe not the first night. It
okay.
makes sense that Owen has come along to see or with Anthony. Um, and George, would it make sense maybe that Carrie, who is a friend of Jack's, has, said you should come down to this bar. Jack plays there sometimes, it'd be fun to see them together, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think George came back and threw herself into work, so it would make sense that Carrie would be like, "You need to get out of your office."
All right, nice. So we're at the top of the hour, so maybe we'll take 10 minutes here and we'll come back and let you all blow off some more steam and talk to your pillars and things like that.
Okay.
Great. T, I enjoyed your first podcast episode.
Oh, thank you.
I was very
I,
entertained by the space in Stone Top.
yes, I did correct it eventually. But yep, it was a thing I learned.
How's the Stone Top game going?
Oh, really well. I am very much enjoying it. I mean, I ran a ton of Dungeon World back in the day, and then maybe for obvious reasons stopped doing it. Um, so it definitely has a lot of what I enjoyed about the system. Yeah, that's a good group. I'm enjoying it.
Awesome.
I don't think I'm gonna have more than one a quarter in my capacity, but uh, every little bit helps, right?
Yeah.
Is it starting to get chilly and autumnal where you are, Shane?
We've had like really great weather the last couple of weeks, and everyone is just walking around saying, "Oh, the weather's so good. Yeah, this will be the last of it, and then winter will hit." So I think any day now it's about to get awful. All right, and Puckett, are you back?
I've been back, as you can tell
Cool.
from side chat.
Yeah, I just was checking. Thanks. All right. So we should name this strange dive bar that you've all ended up at. Does anyone want to give us a name? Googling
The
Edwardian pub names.
I was
The
going to say
Deuce.
the Broken Swan.
The Broken Swan. Awesome. So, I mean, George, I am interested to see what this looks like for you. Has George spent a lot of time in dive bars, or how does it feel to arrive in a bar where you might have to navigate some brawling punters on your way in?
Yeah, I think she has. I think the sort of degree of fervor in her work she's sort of like experiencing right now is um, not a spiritualist. She'll have like a little burst of intense focus, but uh, she does go out, and I think she's been here quite a bit, maybe quite a bit with Carrie. Maybe this is sort of their usual, cut loose after work venue because it seems to
Yeah,
be walking distance from the university.
cool. Um, T, I'm just noticing it looks like you haven't refreshed your investigative abilities, so just don't forget to do that as well.
Am I
Um,
not?
but um,
Oh, missed one. Missed a couple.
yeah,
Thank you.
that's right. Um, And so, yeah, like Carrie will, have a drink or two before she, make some small talk with you and things like that. But eventually she's going to sort of say to you, like, how are things, George? You seemed, well, very focused on your work, a bit withdrawn lately. Is everything okay?
I mean, no, but not acutely. I uh and I think she's been having Carrie work more on the work she's supposed to be doing for her job and less on her more esoteric side projects. And she sort of pinches the bit of her nose and says, I'm trying to find more information on the children. Do you have any idea how many myths and legends and bits of folklore there are about children in these goddamn islands?
I
It's like
can't begin
half
to
of
imagine what the children, how is this connected to our other work?
no, I guess it's personal. I don't know. It might be. Maybe. It might be connected to everything, and I don't know. I don't know. I'm rambling. You you brought me out to stop thinking about work and
Well, I
I
didn't
don't know.
bring you out entirely to stop thinking about work. Um, I've found a problem I haven't been able to resolve, and I would value your thoughts.
All right. Is it one of the undergrads?
It's one of the spiritualists. Her name is Polly Folger. At first, I thought it would be straightforward to identify the usual fraudulent techniques and show that she was as great a fraud as any of the others. But uh, the things that she claims to hear from spirits seem to go beyond the usual, cold readings or research or secret assistance with wireless microphones. She really seems to know things that she couldn't know unless she spoke to spirits. And I, of course, know that this is some sort of a scam, but I can't identify the mechanism. I think she preys terribly on the bereaved. It really pains me to see.
Question for you, Shane, or I suppose possibly Jack, since Carrie's also one of your pillars. Who is it that Carrie lost?
Interesting. Um, Jack, do you want to throw something in here?
I'm sorry. Um, T, could you repeat what you said about Carrie
Yeah,
Lost?
actually, one sec. That might be better. Yeah, who did Carrie lose? What sort of grief did she have in her life that threw her into the arms of spiritualists?
Losing her brother, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, that resonates for me because Carrie, for whatever reason, befriended this strange, broke, blues singing busker, quasi homeless guy. And
What do you mean quasi?
it reminded her of her lost brother as, a plausible explanation for that to me.
Mhm.
So
Uh,
I have to ask, which disreputable habit or habits do I share with your late departed brother?
I mean, maybe you play the guitar, right? Maybe he also played the guitar.
That's not disreputable.
Well, I guess it depends. Um, Maybe he had problems with debts as well. I mean, gambling debts in particular.
Mm, yeah, okay, fair.
Um, so, George, what do you say to Carrie?
uh, George hasn't previously heard of Polly Folger, has she?
I mean, I think that you know enough about spiritualists that probably know the name at least, but not really much more than that.
Okay. Well, I think one way or another, her interest has peaked because if she is very good at tricking people, George wants to know about it. And if she is an actual spiritualist, George also wants to know about it. Um, and I think she has not brought Carrie into her current line of research, let's say. I don't know if Jack has or not. And if Jack has, I don't know whether or not Carrie believes him. Uh, yeah, so I think she'll say, all right, well, I don't think the children are going anywhere. Do you want me to look into it? Her, I suppose.
Sure, there must be something there's got to be a way to figure it out. If your eyes on it, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Um, it's the strangest thing though. the the standard run of spiritualists, are always telling people that they loved ones are happy and content and love them and miss them and things like that. But the messages that Polly relays from the spirit world are always of resentment and betrayal and lingering hatred.
Hmm. I think George is frowning over her drink and said that and says, then I definitely think I want to talk to her.
Um, so I might leave that there for the minute. Owen, I think Anthony also just wants to like check how you're doing. You've come back from Lincolnshire a little bit battered and bandaged. Um, Owen, Anthony is a little, at least a little sensitive, and are you okay, Owen? Where did you go?
And I guess so. Does he know I was out with his sister? Like, does he know
Um,
that that's a thing? I guess I'd ask Sybil. Like, is he aware that we're out doing this together?
Hmm. Yeah, but I think that he's in the dark as to what we're doing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I would think that so for the for the past event, Sybil would have disappeared, and he seemed to take that pretty in a offhanded way. Um, but yeah, let's say that he does know that there's some connection between us, that we work
Okay.
together somehow.
Oh, it's nothing too much to worry about. Um, I had to. Your sister and I had some rather peculiar business dealing with a lord or some such, and actually no, she was because the thing is, I just realized you had been missing until you came back. Uh so I think I need more of an explanation. Um, well, there had been some strange business out in the countryside. Well, while we were out there, me and Miss George, and I kind of, no, just me and Miss George, came across, managed to find your sister, it seems. She had somehow beaten us there.
You sure you're okay?
Does uh does Sybil often frequent basements?
I mean, look around.
I suppose it's
I think our
it's
uncle
nothing.
is terribly
I've been
disappointed in the sorts of places we both tend to frequent.
that was an actual joke. I suppose. After all, you always prefer things that are a bit rougher.
So it runs in the family. Um, so maybe we should, oh, sorry, maybe we will wrap up the scene at the Broken Swan. Um,
So I just wanted to touch base about, did I misunderstand about the new spell? It says that none of us know it. Does that mean we have to learn it somehow before we
so
This
can?
is yeah,
the
we just were talking about this earlier. We
Oh,
can
sorry.
cast it, but we don't know it like we don't have it memorized like a wizard does in D&D. Like we can't
I
cast
see.
it
So,
like on like off the cuff. We need to do a ritual still right now.
uh-huh.
yeah.
And the ritual has to be something more than just her playing at the jazz club.
Yeah, so it will need like some a ritual space, some
Okay, so it
physical
has to look like a
artifacts.
ritual. It can't
Yeah,
just be playing at a jazz
Yeah.
club.
Like
yeah.
creepy stuff is going to happen when we do it because we're going to be spending willpower.
Yeah.
Oh, and we have to do it together. Okay, all
Well, you
right.
don't have to
No, we
do
don't
it
have to do I
together.
don't think
You
we have
can
to
do
do
it
it together, but
individually.
like yeah. But
Um,
any ritual I think people can help with, right?
yeah, so you can perform a ritual yourself, assuming you have enough will and magic to cover, the costs and tests and things. Um, but especially, more difficult rituals. This one isn't especially difficult, but
Uh-huh.
the harder rituals, it's more likely that you'll need help to complete them successfully because they're more difficult.
Yeah,
Um,
because I narratively I was thinking of um Sybil's magic as kind of more entwined with her music and more kind of spontaneous and improvisational, and not kind of like grand drawing of circles and lighting candles and kind of in that sense. So
Yeah. And we did decide like we're not doing like that kind of, Aleister Crowley magic. This is
mhm.
more
Yeah,
um
you're drawing on the influence of your spirits and things like that.
yeah, of
right.
like the
Um,
dead. So like you could have different trappings than
Yeah.
So I think there's like a couple of things that I'm just sort of thinking about what you said and how to like give effect to that mechanically because
Right.
that like there's a distinction in the rules between rituals and incantations where a ritual requires, space and time to perform it, and an incantation is the more sort of spontaneous version of
Hmm.
magic. And this spell, as described in the book, once you've cast it 4 times ritualistically, you can then cast it spontaneously as an incantation.
Uh-huh.
So I don't want to I appreciate what you're saying about, your magic is, sort of improvisational and spontaneous. But I
Hmm.
think because of the way the rules work, you can't like start there with this spell. What I would offer you and
Hmm.
everyone is that you are welcome to flavor the uses of the abilities that you have as being expressions of magic. So if you wanted to, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example. If you wanted to, say that when you make what, a 2 point, hang on, let me look at what your abilities are. Let's say you spend 3 points on fleeing, you might flavor that by saying, I'm using I'm
Hmm.
using Vesper to,
Hmm.
improvise some music that will, I'm describing this so badly, magically hide me from my enemies so I can flee more
Magically hide
efficiently.
me from my enemies. I see. Yeah.
So that sort
But
of
a ritual, yeah.
flavoring with
yeah,
magic
I'm
to do things you can do otherwise is totally
Hmm.
welcome, but to achieve
yeah,
effects
I'm
beyond that will require some engagement with the other mechanics.
yeah, I'm wondering if like we could kind of flavor this if Sybil did want to do it as a ritual. Like could a ritual be like her spending hours kind of feeling out this ritual and like kind of improvising through the lines of verse until the lines of melody like over and over on themselves.
Hmm. Yeah, the way I was imagining it is that she requires other musicians to make this happen. And she requires an audience, perhaps even. So there
Okay.
are trappings, so she
Yeah.
can't just do it by herself, like spontaneously.
All right.
But what's required, rather than candles and magic circles, is other musicians, an audience, maybe, yeah, I don't know, some kind
Yeah.
of group presence, and then maybe the spirits, maybe spirits congregate. All the spirits that are attached to the people that are in the audience congregate to listen to the music, and that's what gives the power to the ritual.
Okay.
That was what I thought, anyways.
Yeah,
But I
that's
will bow to whatever you
no, no,
need. Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Mhm.
That totally works. That sounds
Uh-huh.
cool. And, like the key element of the ritual is that you can't just do it whenever or wherever. Like, and the
Right.
elements you've described, are
Have to be in
distinct
place.
enough that it totally works for me mechanically as a ritual.
Yeah.
Um,
It takes
the
preparation, the right setting and
the
stuff.
right
Yeah. Uh-huh.
space, you need other people, all of that
Mhm.
works for me. We can call this a ritual. Um,
Okay.
so apart from those base elements that are required for a ritual, I think that the cost for this is 5 points of will. That's right. Which means that you must describe some specific evocative or dangerous element of symbolism that's required for this casting. So apart from the need for the audience and
Mhm.
the music moving through you and all of that, what is it that you've brought or that you do to make the magic work here?
Say the phrase again. Something evocative. Is that what you said? Or
Yeah, some
something
players should
unusual
describe something evocative or a dangerous element of
or
symbolism
dangerous?
or metaphor incorporated into the spell's casting. Um,
Uh-huh.
there are some examples that we could talk about if that's helpful.
I'm not
Oh,
serious, but stage dive.
a stage dive. Yeah, I am open to suggestions on what this might be. I'm trying to think of the dangerous word. What would be dangerous for her? I can think of things that are dangerous in her just being in this club, in terms of her social standing, etc.
I
That
think
someone might see
one
her.
one
Hmm.
thing that like is something people often like, it's a kind of the lesser known things of like seances from this era, is that the person who was channeling the spirits, one way that they like produced the effect was that ectoplasm would flow out of their mouth
Oh
as
wow.
they channeled the spirit. And I'm
Uh-huh.
wondering if like that's something that's happening to Sybil on stage. Like ectoplasm begins pouring out of your mouth.
That's cool and scary. I'm trying to imagine her continuing to play the violin while that's happening, though, which is interesting.
That's what makes it scarier, is that you don't stop.
And then I would stop.
Um,
What if the
Ectoplasm is like a
violin
liquid, right?
starts to bleed?
oh.
Oh, yeah. That sounds cool. Like somehow, uh, yeah, the blood of, yeah, it starts bleeding. I was just because I just saw when you said that, T, like it bleeding over her shoulder and down into her dress and staining her dress. Um, and Oh, we're just LARPing sinners now. Yeah, that's fine. We can do that. And
Um,
also, I imagine that like the spirits that are coming in, not all of them are particularly wholesome. So there's a kind of vulnerability that she has, to, whatever spirits might be coming through that might be more angry or hateful, or it's like willy-nilly they're coming into the club, with whoever brought them. And so what that might look like is maybe that's the blood, and also, we can see, shadows moving in and out of maybe I like the idea of rather than ectoplasm coming out, maybe, shadowy kind of, things going in, into her eyes, into her mouth, as she's playing, and then coming out again. I don't know. And I love the blood image and I don't know if the blood will remain after the piece is done and the ritual is done, but right now it looks like that. And I and there might be horror on the face of some of the folks in the audience, even though they might be engaged and enraptured by the music.
Wonder. I'm gonna toss an idea out there. And Shane, if you want to nuke it as part of your GM fiat, that's fine. Is it possible that Jack might have drawn a circle of protection around the stage?
I mean, if you want him to, if that's something that he would have done.
Jose, is that something that you'd be interested in having
Yeah,
happen?
sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Jack had more forethought than Sybil.
Hmm. All right. So
The blues usually conjures devils and demons, so yeah,
Oh, and you've had experience with that, so yeah. Okay.
yeah. Ley
Forewarned.
lines, crossroads, fundamentally the same thing. It's just the one's older.
All right, so we're gonna work through the ritual mechanically here. So, Jose, when I talk, just to remind everyone about the mechanics, when I talk about points of will, when we're talking about magic, you can substitute a point of magic for any 2 points of will, right?
Right.
The first thing you have to do is just pay the will cost, which is 5,
Hmm.
just to be able to cast the spell.
Okay. So I pay the will cost. Okay, let me open. Sorry.
That's
The
right.
character, and it's here. And I can use magic. Oh, and one quick question about magic. I know that there are these um capacities like within a session to refresh some things.
Mhm.
Is magic underneath that one? It says you can't do it to health and will. Like once per
So,
session, you can refresh any three. Oh, that's general abilities.
so
Yeah,
you
you'd
can
only be able to refresh one magic.
yeah, so you can
One magic.
refresh any 1 point in any investigative ability once per session when you engage with one of your pillars. So a
Okay.
conversation with Anthony might let you do that, or
Yeah.
well, you're working with Vesper. I mean, all of your pillars really are active in this
They're
scene,
all here,
so
right? Yeah.
those
Okay,
things will help.
so well, why don't I use 1 point of magic then?
Hmm.
Um, and that's for 2 will, did you say?
Yep.
So that's 2. So I'll use 1 point of magic and I will use um 3 points of will. That'll take me down to
But
9.
I'll also pony up 1 point of magic since I'll be able to refresh it as well.
Well, so how are you helping with the ritual?
Yeah, how am I helping? I feel like all of us probably owe an explanation to Anthony after this performance tonight. Um, um, how am I gonna help? So I'm using a point of magic. So I'm actually using like magical power. I think there is this because again we talked about like how horrific my spirit is. I should actually give it a name. I have to look up some good demon names. Um, I think there is this kind of sense that like you talked about how there are like, spirits and then the really bad spirits.
Mhm.
Like I think there is like this out of the corner of your eye. There's always something there are the things that are coming to eat to get you, the things that want to possess you maliciously. And then there's just like a wail and a scream that is not heard by the people here as they are gobbled up by this thing that accompanies me.
All right.
So
Um,
that means you have to spend one less point of will because I
Got
have
it.
to spend one to give it to you.
Okay.
Um, all right, so that's just the cost. So
Okay.
now you have to defeat the ritual inertia in a challenge,
Okay.
which essentially means because there's 10 inertia and the difficulty is 5, that you need to succeed on a series of 3 difficulty 5 will tests. Um,
3 difficulty 5 will test. Wow, that's a lot. Yeah.
mhm.
Okay.
Um,
Um, this is going to leave me, it might leave me, just so you all know, a little drained for our next encounter. Although there is some recovery possible, right?
I mean,
Uh,
people can help with this. I mean, Jack's playing music with you. It seems like that's a natural avenue to get some help in the ritual.
okay.
Mhm. I can toss in
If
a
Jack's
point.
willing.
Yeah.
So just a reminder, when you help with will or any other general ability, it's like Jose gets 1 less point than the number of points you contribute. So
Hmm.
if you give 2 points of will, Jose gets one
Jose
point.
gets one. If
Yeah.
I give
Oh,
1 point of will, Jose gets nothing.
Yes, that would be correct.
and you're out of a point.
How many points do you need?
That's a good question. So, what do you guys think? So, if there's 5 tests, we have to do
Sorry,
five
three,
tests.
three,
3. I'm 3 tests. 3 tests, and each one I have to hit 5 or
5.
better on a
Yes,
six-sided die.
yes.
Um, uh, and so, I mean, we could go with 2. I mean, if the ritual fails, well, then it doesn't work, you know. But
I can give you 4.
I can throw in 4 will to this first one.
wow, okay. Is
Yeah,
that
because I'm
There's
going to
one
be
almost
able to
no way you
refresh
can
some.
fail.
4, it means
No,
there's no
because
way I
it's
can fail.
-1. I'm throwing in 4 will, so Sybil will still need to spend 1 to guarantee it.
Okay.
Maybe
So
Sybil
why
wants
don't
to just try her luck and see.
What do you think? Shall I just take the +3 and see what happens? It doesn't help
No,
me to get a
drop the point
critical.
in.
Oh, sorry, Jose, what did you say?
It doesn't help me to get a critical.
No, not in a challenge.
Not in a challenge. Um, all right, so why don't I put in an extra then, and I'll bring it to 4.
All right.
So that's a point of will, right?
Yep. So
And
that
then,
is one successful test.
okay. And she continues playing, and I think
This
maybe
is me like holding back my spirit from trying to eat you as well.
from trying to eat me. Yeah.
Oh. So Owen's spirit does not like magic. Is that what we're learning?
I mean, my spirit is just it's made of suffering, we said.
hmm
And Sybil is soothing.
hmm
Hmm.
It's like Sybil might be like a painkiller for it. Who knows?
Huh.
Uh, oh. And then narratively, Jack, for the second round, is there some way that the magic circle, uh, we see something going on with it during the ritual or during the
Oh, it's more
performance?
interesting than that.
Okay.
It sounds like I'm screwing up the song because
Uh-huh.
these discordant notes start to come out of the guitar.
That's what makes the
But
blues sound
you actually see some of these spirits start to wince and stagger, and something almost like blood starts coming out of some of them. So the
good. Get the blood.
music, these notes are actually harming them. It's wounding them. It's encouraging them to leave before they get hurt worse.
hmm All right, then
And in
I
the
need to.
process, I just developed post punk,
Hmm.
which this would be pre post punk, I guess.
Um, so that you're going to make your second test in the challenge.
Yep, and
Yeah.
I already deducted the 4 points of will, so you just got to add one.
Okay, and I'll add another one from me.
All right. And just before we go to the third test, George, you realize that all the other members of your little circle are doing some sort of ritual together in this dive bar. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't think she'd realized. I think she and Carrie were probably tucked in a corner,
Mhm.
and maybe Carrie, is looking up and maybe says something about Jack being out of form tonight, and George looks around, and I think her glass just slips out of her hand and shatters on the floor, uh, as she sees what is happening here, and she says, "Good Lord, Sybil," and will start pushing her way towards the stage. I don't know what Carrie's going to make of that. Um, and I think Sybil, uh, as you are sort of in this maelstrom of spirits, you feel just a presence at your back, uh, warm, supportive, guarding, and something comes towards you from behind and it never reaches you.
Mhm.
And I will spend 4 points of will as my spirit guide is uh, on the case.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I just see kind of light, like some kind of shimmer of light behind Sybil, protecting her from the shadow. And
Mhm.
I'll spend another point of will. That brings me down, and that does it, I think.
Yeah. So you've imbued your with Vesper with some specific magical power
hmm
that's equal to a single use 5 point general 5 points. Sorry, I'm expressing myself so badly. Excuse me. Equal to 5 points in a general ability, What is it
Right.
that Vesper can do once now with the magic that you've imbued with it?
So it's 5 points, but they all have to be spent at once. Is that the idea?
Sorry, I think that the intention is that you can only spend each point once, but not that, you know what I mean? Like once the points
Oh,
are
right.
spent,
So
they're
I
gone,
could spend a
but
point and
you
I
could
could spend
divide it
another point.
across multiple
I could
tests.
divide it
Yes,
across multiple incidents, but there's just
yes,
five
that's right.
total, right? What are my options here? I mean, I was thinking about comfort and support.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
and that makes, yeah, because the other ones, um, unless I put it in fighting,
Yeah, you could use it. Is it for
this is
fighting
very
or
violent imagery. Yeah.
athletics?
Yeah.
I mean, composure might make sense.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I mean, what would Sybil want her violin to be able to do, help her do one time?
I think since this got so violent and so kind of blood soaked that I think I'm going to put it into fighting. That way she'll have if she needs it, she'll have some kind of um, possible violent response
Nice.
when we need it.
I didn't really put somewhere specific on the character keeper to record temporary abilities, but I mean, maybe figure out somewhere that you'll remember that they're, not refreshable points.
I could just put the 5 points there
Yeah, sure.
next to it, and then I'll still be a 0 in my
All right.
rank. Right?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Um, very logical solution. Um, all right. Well, I think that we might close on the broken swan there, having I don't know. I mean, what you've like, I mean, maybe what we see is that the imbuing of the violent energies in the violin has drained the violent energies from the room, and there's a calmness that
Uh-huh.
comes across everyone. Um, and maybe that, like that's what brings the night to an end. Like everyone who was so hopped up a few moments ago now seems calm, maybe even sedated, and people
Hmm.
start to head home.
Hmm.
And that's where we'll leave that. So I am inclined to go ahead and frame a scene where you arrive at the Radcliffe camera for your scheduled meeting with Lizzie Weiberg. Is everyone happy for me to do that, or is there anything that any of you wanted to do specifically before you meet with her?
Is there anything that we can
Where?
do to reset our stats or our pools before now and the meeting?
So there is a couple of things. T, I know you were about to say something. I'll come to you in just a sec. Um, so um, you can, once per session, you can refresh either 1 point in an investigative ability or 3 points in any general ability just by like engaging with one of your pillars somehow. Jack, you've been playing your beat up guitar, so it makes sense to me that that would qualify.
Okay.
What else can you do to refresh? I'm just reminding myself. Um,
I think the for will and health at least, you can use the comfort and support and first
yes.
aid to restore it, right?
Yeah, so that would take, some sort of scene with one of the other characters where they offer you comfort and support or first aid. You can do that if you want. Um,
So for the second one, the once per session, you can refresh 1 point in investigative ability or 3 points in a general by engaging with one of your pillars. I could do 3 points of will on that.
yeah. Oh,
Okay.
sorry. Yes, that's right.
It's the other one that you can't do will on, the once per session, refresh any three. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you also, it's a few more days before you're going to meet with Lizzie, so you will have time just for some uninterrupted rest, and that means that you can
Mhm.
refresh any three general abilities except health and will to their maximum value. Um,
Mhm.
Or you glitched there. What was it you said? What's triggering that?
so you're asking me?
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
glitch and I missed what you were
Yeah.
saying for the second part.
So that's just something that happens once per session if you get to like rest uninterrupted, and you definitely have time to do that before you meet with Lizzie. So any three general abilities except health and
Okay.
will can just refresh fully.
But those are all maxed now because we just rested, right?
Well, not if
Oh,
you stole a car, for example. You might want to
oh,
take
I see.
advantage of that.
I forgot about that.
You steal one car and you never hear the end of it.
Uh-huh. Um, all right. So, yeah, refresh your spirit guides glamour for the if you haven't already. Uh, and all right. So, at the scheduled time, which is, after hours, maybe on a Saturday evening, quite late, you all arrive in the basement of the Radcliffe Camera at Oxford, the sort of special ritual sanctum that Lizzie had prepared for your use. And you find Ms. Weiberg's servant Barclay waiting for you. Barclay hands you a letter addressed to you from Miss Weiberg, and it says, "Dear George, Jack, Owen, and Sybil, I have had to leave unexpectedly. I am not sure how long I shall be gone. There is nothing to worry about. I trust you will continue the work. Most sincerely, Lizzie Weiberg."
Well, I
Well,
certainly hope that she hasn't wandered into yet another trap. Uh, yeah.
intriguing. We never found out what they really wanted with her, did we?
Nothing good. I've been
Oh,
trying to find more on the children, and it's a cold trail so far, but if some leads I might want to follow up on. What have you all been learning?
I'm afraid I haven't been doing much investigation. I've been trying to soothe tempers back at Wickham Abbey. My uncle has not been, somehow came to know that I was missing for a little bit. So I've had to make a call over there and show my face, show that I'm all fine and well. But perhaps the scrutiny will diminish, I hope. But I'm
Mm.
ready now. Shall we investigate one of these new ley line crossings that we heard about?
I I do think one of them should be our next stop. Um, Cambridge seems perhaps the simplest. Perhaps I'm wrong about that, but I would like to be somewhat more prepared this time. I don't think I realized before that our foes were, I don't know, as dangerous as they are.
And a dragon certainly seems dangerous.
Well, I'll tell you this, and she sort of jerks her chin towards the library. I could find you 5 documents on how to kill one in verse or prose in the next 3 minutes.
See, this is why I always try to maintain a certain state of, how to put this, intoxication, perhaps. It's so much
Yes, it
easier.
And Sybil looks at this.
George
Go ahead.
starts
Go
to
ahead.
say something and then does not. She does not look pleased.
I pull a flask out of my pocket, slide it across the table to George, and say, "Here, try it. Trust me. It's you won't be nearly as scared."
She slides it back and says, I'm not entirely sure you've done much to earn my trust, Jack Taylor.
Well, I'm not the one who got left at Massenburg Hall, Dunby Hall, whatever the hell that place was.
You wouldn't have been left if you were with us.
Listen, I was gathering intelligence. It's just that it was a very deep cover assignment.
Oh, I'm sure it was very under the covers.
Very deep under the covers. Yes, yes. And for my work, for my hard work, for my troubles, which were many and varied, do you know what I received? Nothing. I took a car, but that's not receiving one.
Owen, how are your wounds doing?
I say, oh, nothing too bad. I only hurts a bit when I stretch.
Well, maybe next time, Jack, we can see that you don't receive some of your own.
I
Uh,
will have you know that the injuries that I received were all in the line of duty in the process of gathering intel, information, uh, things that might have proven useful to us.
Injuries to your pride, to your dignity, perhaps.
No, not my pride. I actually experienced injuries of the flesh, thank you very much.
I
You should have
don't
seen
need
my
more
back.
details.
It looked like a cat had been climbing on me.
Well, you seem most recovered right now, Jack. You're glowing, even.
That's because I've had 3 shots of this.
Yes, I know, dear. It's your normal
You would
state.
seem recovered too if you were drinking what I'm drinking.
She takes a sniff at it, like, oh, no, maybe
Yeah, it
not.
smells like paint thinner.
Your constitution is just much stronger than mine, Jack. And then she looks at the ceiling and she says, Cambridge and dragons. I feel like I've heard something about that before. And I wonder if I don't know if we're in an investigation yet or
you
if
can
we're
use your
leaning towards
investigative
that
abilities anytime.
anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wonder if Sybil can recall any folklore about dragons in the area of Cambridge that might be useful to this investigation.
All right, that is a great question, but we're nearly at the top of the hour, so I think we'll come back
Oh,
in
perfect.
5 minutes and find out what you recall about dragons in Cambridge.
Perfect.
Great.
Back in 5.
5.
Yeah, T,
I'm back,
I
Shane.
cool, thank you. T, I was curious. You said, you've been researching the children. Is that
Hmm.
purely book research, or are you, like you mentioned it to Carrie? I mean, I'm asking because I'm curious about whether you might have attracted any attention in your inquiries.
Oh, I mean, she has, and it's interesting. I think um I think her first instinct was like, well, I'm gonna hit the books. And my instinct about what would be interesting as a player is she's found nothing and has become steadily more frustrated. So she's definitely like asked a reference librarian. She went back and helped the priest. She probably asked him, searched in the church archives, which like probably a bunch of documents on like children born in the parish, but probably not
Yeah.
anything that she's looking for. So, um, yeah, and I think the next thing on her to-do list is I don't remember if you said Dr. Kalamov's in London or not,
I did.
but she wants to talk to the alienist who treated Felix.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Is
cool.
I'm gonna look up a map of England. I don't know the relative locations of Cambridge, Oxford, and London.
London is about an hour from Oxford. I'm not quite sure about Cambridge. Um, Jose, it looks like you're right. I did not recall that rule. But
There's a lot of rules.
yeah, there's a lot of rules for a game that seems like it should be quite simple.
No worries. I was just curious
Um,
about it.
we'll definitely make sure that I get my head around that for next time. Um,
I'm happy. Well, because she knows. I'm trying to think if she would be stealthy. Because she does have points in stealth, and she does know that there are humans that are involved in this, and also that spirits can be deceitful. So I think she is reorganizing her mental arithmetic and model of the world.
mm,
Um, and also, I think that's part of the reason why she doesn't want to draw Carrie into it too deeply.
mhm.
Uh, because she believes the world takes, and if you know, Carrie gets involved in this, maybe she dies.
Right. Um, okay, so I think, sorry, I'll wait for Stephen to get back before I tell you some more about what I think. Okay. Um, well, actually, just thinking about what order to do this. Okay, let's start with the folklore of Cambridge. But if I get distracted because we go down this like wormhole, T, don't let me forget to tell you some more about the research that George has been doing. Um, so I mean, there's lots of like rumors and folklore about Cambridge. There's a ghost that people have reported seeing fairly recently. In terms of dragons, there's not a whole lot that you can find or recall, sorry, because you're just thinking about what you know. Although there are stories that Isaac Newton wrangled a dragon in his time at Cambridge. Obviously absurd, but that's something that people say. Um,
And do I spend a point from folklore for that?
no, that's some free information.
Okay.
Um, Owen, I want to check in with you. You know, you joined this group out of an interest in the working class, and your first job, mission was to go engage with a lord, and now your friends are talking about going to Cambridge. How does this land with Owen? Like, is this more ruling class absurdity than you're expecting, or is that, are you willing to roll with it? Like, how do you feel about it?
I think there is a certain amount of, well, of course, we could go to Cambridge, but I have contacts in Birmingham that we might be able to rely on.
Well, I guess it comes down to, do we want to face a dragon or do we want to face a troll? I've never been to Birmingham. And Owen, I can imagine no better guide than you. What do
I
you think,
mean,
George?
sorry, I just want to also say, like, it is like you don't need to decide right now. It's also open to the characters to, go off and do some more research before you come back together to make a decision. If you, want to use some more of your investigative abilities and stuff like that to see what you can dig up. But you can also just make a sort of flavor decision, like, yeah, troll sounds cool to me, or, whatever.
I mean, Owen was serious in that he would reach out to some contacts about whether there were any goings on in Birmingham that he should know about, because I do have points invested in both working class but also cities, towns and
Cities.
cities.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, we should use those.
As a player, I think it would be great to engage more in the sort of labor class struggle stuff. So I think Birmingham makes sense. I think George's like preference is going to be Cambridge, but she's willing to be swayed.
Jack, what are you thinking?
I'm not entirely sure that I am. Besides, there's a reason why I have these cards around, right? So I just idly flip through and pull out the King of Wands. Start thinking about it and meditating on it, and shrug and say, "Sure, let's go. Fuck the Royals."
All right.
Sure, you would if you could.
Um, so,
Owen
Ge-
Owen does chuckle at that.
so George, I don't know if you bring this up now, but you have been doing some research about some of the leads that you had from last week. And one thing that has been striking to you is that you were told that respected alienist from London named Dr. Kalamov had treated the boy Felix before he disappeared. Um, you haven't been able to find any record of a registered alienist of that name, and you are, quite the talented archival researcher. But you have found uh, a number of works attributed to a Dr. Kalamov going back over 100 years, and they are works roughly along the lines of what you might now call archaeology, research about standing stones and what he believed were Neolithic cults across England and other strange sort of prehistoric phenomena and societies. The books are, I mean, a few weeks ago, you would have said they were not at all credible, and now maybe you have some doubts.
And you said the books had been written over the period of 100 years?
Just that the most, they are from more than 100 years ago.
Okay, interesting. Uh, yeah, and I think she'll uh, go into lecture mode, and you get disgorge this information in a succinct way.
So out of character, do we want to do some investigation here, or do we want to get in the car and go to Birmingham or the train?
I mean, at least a couple of you have work here, so I think that like it makes sense game wise that there's at least a few days
Right.
before you head to Birmingham. Um, and you're welcome to use that for some research. You're welcome to use it for some fucking around. You're welcome to use it however you want.
Got
Where
it.
does Polly Folger work out of?
So Polly travels around quite a bit, but is currently working in Oxford.
Oh, she's here.
Mhm.
Uh, so I think as we're sort of wrapping up and going our respective ways, I think George will look around and say, and I have there's a spiritualist I think I should look into. I would put it in quotes, but I think maybe I shouldn't for this one. I suspect, well, I suspect a lot of things. I prefer not to go alone. And I certainly prefer to keep Carrie, she glances at Jack, out of it. Um,
Oh, do let me
who,
come with. I'm so bored.
Why are you looking at me? What did I do?
Carrie, apparently.
Really?
I have not.
Look.
Hmm?
I have not.
George raises an eyebrow.
Am I subtle about such things? Do I lie about such things?
I
Well,
haven't
you lie
exactly been
quite
going
well.
behind you and fact checking.
Why would I say that I have not if I actually had? What would
Oh,
I gain
well,
from such a lie?
have you told her of our business together?
No.
Keep it that way.
Very well.
Do you, Jack, Owen, do either of you want to come with Sybil and I to confront, perhaps?
Oh, yeah. Well, uh, you have Owen, but
Yeah, I can accompany you.
So gallant, and
you're going to need
she
somebody
snakes
with,
her arm through Owen's arm.
you're going to need somebody with an ability to do other distasteful things than Owen does. So why not?
All
All
right.
right, it's a party.
So, George, like, what's the plan for this? Are you going to try and, attend one of her seances, all four of you, or are you going to try and arrange to meet with her personally, confront her in an alleyway? Like, what is this going to look like?
Yeah. I think George is going to do her usual thing, which is she attends a séance as a an audience member in what she thinks is a disguise. I don't think. Well, she's got some points in stealth. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, in disguise. And I think she will offer for any of you who wish to accompany her that way to join. Um, if any of you want to, I suppose, sneak in the back way, she's not going to stop you.
Right. Um, is anyone going to sneak in the back way, or are the four of you just attending the seance?
Oh, I'd like to attend the seance if that's possible. I'd like to see how it's done. What about you, Jack? Will you join us, or will you be up to something more disgraceful? And she raised an eyebrow, like she hopes you will be.
Sybil, if I were up to something less reputable, would I, do you think I would tell you about it?
Well, I do hope you would. They are
Why? So
such
you can
lovely
get in trouble for
stories.
knowing about it?
Oh, I shouldn't know about things. I already know about so many things I shouldn't.
You see?
How can one
There's a
more
bit of
hurt
wisdom.
me? Very well, I retract my question. I see nothing. Don't know what you're up to. What is Jack up to? What has he been doing these days? I can't keep track of him. Will that do?
I suppose.
All right. And it is all right. So we're going to cut away from the scene and we'll pick up shortly with the seance. But before we get there, um, like maybe the plan is to go to the seance a couple of days later, the earliest night that you can make arrangements for something like that. Um, Jack, in the interim, somewhere between meeting all of your companions at the Radcliffe camera and attending or whatever you're going to do this seance, um, uh, someone finds you. Where do they find you? Um,
In an
do you,
opium den, of course.
of course. Um, so you sort of come back to, you're a little bit just what are you you're drifting, enjoying your opium haze, and you realize that there's a woman sitting just across from you watching you recline. She has quite a menacing aura about her. You've been spending a lot of time with Owen, and you recognize it as not dissimilar to Owen's aura, although his is not normally directed at you. Um,
I look at her and say, well, don't just sit there. Pick up a pipe.
I won't be smoking today. You have quite the reputation for running, but I'd encourage you to stay and listen to what I have to say.
You, of all people, should be smoking something today. You look so tense, like you're
Um,
a coiled spring that's ready to snap.
I don't like to let my guard down around magicians.
My dear, I'm hardly a musician. I'm, did I say musician or did it say magician? It doesn't matter. I'm hardly either, magician or musician.
Nevertheless, and as you like sort of, to whatever extent you're pulling yourself together or focusing, you have points in Streetwise, right? At least one.
Oh yeah, I've got a ton of points in Streetwise.
All right. So you
Well, I
recognize
shouldn't
this
say a
woman.
ton, but I have 2 out of 2.
Yeah. So without any spend, you're going to recognize who this is. She's well known. Her name is Frida Webb. She's a feared enforcer for the mob boss Moses Sabini. Um, she's going to start throwing out the names of some of your creditors, some people that you owe money to. And she says, Mr. Sabini has need of a service of a kind that you may be able to provide, and would be happy to help you out with some of your debts in exchange for this service.
On that note, I actually have something that might make progress toward my debts, including the ones I owe Mr. Sabini. It's a first printing of Samuel Richardson's Pamela.
I'm sorry, do I look like a bookseller to you?
No, but I thought you might know one.
Hmm.
You have contacts. I mean, let's not be glib. I know who you are. You know who I am. Clearly, or you wouldn't be here. Why you think I'm capable of doing what you ask is another question entirely. But if it can erase some of my debts, I would love to hear what you have to propose.
Good. There's a man named Tobias George. Um, and I think again, with a point of streetwise, a couple of points, you know this guy. He's a sort of minor gangster, not anyone very impressive. And you've heard that he robbed one of Moses Sabini's card games recently, which was a obviously disastrous thing for a minor leaguer to do. But what Frida Webb tells you now is that Sabini hasn't been able to find him. Um, the and Tobias now has a new racket, which is selling artifacts that he's selling artifacts directly from hell. Um, the first one was a rock that was the size of a tennis ball, but as heavy as a motorcycle. And, people laughed at him, thought he was full of shit, but someone bought it, not for very much money. But people, found out they liked what they saw, word got around. The next thing he sold was a 2-inch piece of charred bone, and that sold for a lot more. And it sold to Moses Sabini because this Tobias contacted him directly to let him know it was a piece of his late son's thigh bone. And Sabini paid, but he is not happy about any of this. They have a lead on where Tobias is. He has a shack on some sort of island on the Margate Dam in the north, but it has some sort of magical protection that makes it hard to find, hard to see. And Mr. Sabini wants to settle Tobias's debt, his debt to Mr. Sabini. He understands that Tobias has an atlas of hell and that he's using this somehow to gain these artifacts. And Mr. Sabini wants the atlas. And if you bring it back, Mr. Sabini will pay off all of your creditors, all of them. You'll have his protection should you experience any trouble in future. And with your Miss Weiberg gone, you badly need protection. Jack, you and your friends, you've antagonized a dangerous cult. You left one of their allies in a coma in a hospital, and they say you even fucked his wife. The revenge will be brutal. Mr. Sabini could help you with all of that if you do him this small service.
when you put it like that, it does seem like a rather lopsided proposition that I would benefit from immensely.
Mr. Savini can be very generous with his friends.
I certainly would rather be one of his friends than one of his enemies or someone who denied him a favor. I will do whatever I can to find this island and find the shack on it and retrieve this atlas. Tell me, this Tobias, George, you say, is there anything that you want done with him? Do you want him left alive? Do you want him disappeared? Do you want him buried, dropped in the water, something public to send a message, or
I didn't think you offered this kind of service. It would not displease Mr. Sabini if Tobias George wound up dead, but that is not the service that he's asking of you.
just retrieve the atlas, of course.
Without the
I'm
Atlas,
just
Tobias is nothing. He can be dealt with easily.
oh, very well. I I'm not much of a killer, but should I not have any other options to leave with the atlas in my possession than to, well, dispatch of Mr. George, then I will make sure that the atlas returns in my possession to, well, yes, to your boss, Mr. Sabine.
Excellent decision. And she
I
will
must
take it.
say,
Yeah.
this is shaping up to be a very outstanding day. Thank you. Can I call you Frida, or would you prefer Ms. Webb?
Freda is fine.
This is shaping up to be a most auspicious day, Frida. Here, I thought this was all I'd be doing today.
Well, it rather looks like it will be.
Oh, I'll be up and out of here within an hour, off to go find this island.
Great.
Who knows? Maybe the sensory deprivation and alteration from this will make it easier for me to detect this apparently undetectable location that Tobias is occupying. Doors of perception and such.
All right. I think we'll leave the scene there. Um, so is Jack's plan to go straight to try and find this island?
I think I should round up at least one or two other people. Um, but that would take time.
Well, I wonder if what makes sense is that like we split the party in two, and two of you head for the seance and two of you head for the island. If anyone, well, or it doesn't have to be two of you, any combination, but it seems like there are kind of two directions that people are interested in taking before Birmingham. Um, does that make sense?
Works for me.
Um, so, uh, would I mean to me it would make sense that Owen is the sort that you want to go along on this dangerous mission to
Yeah,
find the
I was gonna
Atlas.
suggest.
Yeah, no question.
All right. Well, that sounds like it will go disastrously, but excellent. Um, okay. So I think that maybe in terms of the main like plot threads, it makes sense to pause them here and pick up next week with the seance and the island. Um, but we have some time left if there's any sort of more like role play scenes or any sort of general research that people might like to do with our last 15 minutes or so. Or
Okay.
this is a good place for me to wrap up as well, if that's easier. Um,
It would be helpful for me to know more about Jack and Carrie's relationship, because I think George has misapprehended it.
hmm. Does that mean you talk to Jack about it? You talk to Carrie about it? You are interested in seeing a scene between Jack and Carrie? Like, what does that look like?
I think a scene between Jack and Carrie would be helpful. This is like I want to know as a player. I think
Okay.
George is not going to pry.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So that makes sense. If anyone else has any scenes they'd like to see, maybe just pop them in the chat and we'll um, Jack, where do you meet Carrie? Is it like
I
I
think
don't
it's
think
in the
she comes to the
parlor of her
opium den.
home.
Okay.
And I've brought along a cigar box guitar that I made for her because I'm trying to teach her how to play.
Nice.
She experienced interest in my busking and the songs that I'm singing. I mean, some of which are child ballads, so they're not unknown in England. But I just show up with my battered guitar slung over my shoulder and this cigar box guitar in hand. And when the butler opens the door, I announce that I'm there to see Carrie. And probably with a distinct expression of disgust and revulsion, the butler will grudgingly allow me entrance and meet up with Carrie in the parlor and begin teaching her just basic chords, Mary Had a Little Lamb, as it were.
Hmm. Well, that's quite sweet. Um, does Harry know that you and George are working together?
It's not something that I would have said, although it's also not something I would have hidden.
I guess we sort of established that she does know because she invited George to the bar because she knew that you were playing. Um, so I think Harry is a bit worried about George. George seemed like there's something about George over the last few weeks that seems a bit off, like more distracted or focused on something other than her work, but also like really throwing herself into her work. Um, Carrie's noticed all these things. Um, yeah, so I think Carrie doesn't know that you're magicians specifically, but does know that you have some sort of connection or working relationship or friendship or something. And yeah, she doesn't understand why George is like keeping, she can tell that George is keeping something from her, doesn't really understand why. And so she's gonna ask Jack out. Um, there's this like nice time playing guitar together. I think she picks it up reasonably well. She's not the most musical person that you've ever met, but she's probably had some music lessons, and so there's some affinity there. But as you're sort of relaxing afterwards, she'll say, "Jack, how's George been? I know you've been spending some time together."
Busy doing research, somewhat distracted, but deep in her research. Why do you ask?
Well, I've also noticed that she seems quite distracted. I suppose I'm a little worried. Do you think she's all right?
You know how academics are. They throw themselves into their work. They barely come up for air, much less food or water or, going to what is it you call it? The loo?
You think that's
Distracted,
all,
but no more so than any other academic, I'm sure.
you think that's all it is?
Like I said, academics. They get obsessed about certain things. They spend hours reading books closely or looking through archives or whatever it is that they do. I mean, if there's one thing we've established by now, it's that I am not now, nor will I ever be an academic. Uh, so I can't speak to exactly what she's doing. I just know that she's doing it very intensely
Why do you say that?
because I've seen the same things you have. She seems distractible. She's
Oh,
always
no, no,
walking around with
sorry.
papers and books.
I don't mean that. Why do you say you could never be an academic?
Oh,
You seem to have the same capacity for obsession and focus when the things you care about.
And you see, that's just it. It's the things I care about. Playing guitar is something that I care about. Learning old songs is something that I care about. My other predilections, which I will not sully your parlor by naming, are things that I care about. Burying my nose in stuffy old books and smelling dust from 300 years ago, that does not sound like fun. It is not my idea of something to become obsessed with. I would rather become obsessed with the way that a light shines off the neck of a beautiful woman while I'm playing guitar. That's the sort of thing with which I'd rather become obsessed. Not even that anything has to happen, just appreciating that beauty.
Well, I mean, Aristotle's work could help you understand that appreciation all the better, deepen it, enrich it.
What on earth is an Aristotle?
All right, let's go back to the chords.
I'm fine with sending it there if you want.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot to leave it. Um, all right. Um, so we're closing up on time, so maybe we'll wrap up the session there. So everyone gets 1 XP just for participating in the session. You can take 1 more XP and mark a key if you engaged with, mark 1 key maximum if you engaged with it during the session, did something that expressed it during the session. If you're not sure, then it will count. Um, and I will end the recording and we'll do some stars and wishes.